Hello again and welcome back, friends, as we take another look at the Sacramento, California Railroad Museum, State Railroad Museum. And today we're going to look at the second floor. And you're in for a treat. Just like the first floor was unbelievable, the second floor will not disappoint. And so I invite you to stick around and join me as we look around a little bit and hear a little bit about what there is at this museum.
Well, let's get started with part number 2, and we open with this phenomenal home-built prototype steam engine that appears to run on 7-inch gauge. And this was, as I climbed the steps to the second level, this is what greeted me. Just astounding. But for a lot of you watching this program, you're probably thinking, it's about time. But here we go, finally into the toy section, specifically Lionel and American Flyer, but there's also HO, a little bit of N. And it's, again, like everything else in this museum, done extremely well. The Lionel presence is significant. Since I don't tend to spend much time in the world of Lionel, I can't say how extensive the collection is, other than to say there is a lot. There's a varied amount displayed, and there's some standard gauge, there's some pre-standard gauge that we'll see here in a little bit. Again, they just did a really nice job of kind of setting up what are antique trains, and then they even, here in just a moment, show us how individual components can vary. And if you're looking into maybe collecting antique trains, here's a few simple things to look for. Now, obviously, this is an introductory thing, but I just thought it was fascinating that this museum not only has these amazing displays, but then kind of encourages people to think about, hey, would you like to be a collector of this stuff? I've never seen a museum do that before, be it, antique cars, be it whatever. I just don't recall ever seeing that be a part of a museum. So I found that pretty fascinating. There'll be more information coming up, but most of what we're seeing comes from one collector. That incredible amount of stuff, but more on that in just a bit. I've enjoyed going back through these clips and reading the placards again, assuming they're accurate, which I have no reason to doubt that the information here is not accurate. I didn't quite realize the progression of model trains, size, where they started, and then kind of the dynamics that happened here in this country at the beginning of the 20th century. So just really good reading material, and interesting then, of course, to see displays of period correct trains to help me get a grasp of the differences and details and scale, because as we all know, when electric trains were started, they kind of seemed to grow out of the floor pull behind or clock wind up, which were pretty rough castings, but quickly, especially with some of the lithograph, quickly became something much more refined, much more detailed and beautiful.
How you doing, sir?
All right, how are you?
Good. Mr. Septon, when he passed away, gave us 18,000 drinks.
Is that right?
Have you seen his garage?
I have not.
Here, let me show you. It's attic.
Was that the first thing you see when you come in here?
Yeah, right here.
thought this was an interesting approach to marketing strategy, and assuming again that it's legitimate, I thought, well, that's fascinating that was kind of the marketing employed by all the different train manufacturers to get people to buy more stuff. I do appreciate this display case particularly because I just found the models that they had in this case stunning. This is going to be really interesting reading for you. One of the volunteers here at the museum was just telling me that this person, Mr. that donated his train collection, left 16 semi-trailers worth of trains. And it was so much, they had to take them to an Air Force base where they cataloged and weighed and carefully displayed all of the collection that doesn't fit here at the museum, which 16 container trucks is more than more than I can certainly imagine. It's hard to imagine there's even that much still around. And by the looks of things, everything is mint. Pretty cool. I can't imagine being able to collect the volume that this gentleman did, nor how you even go about doing it. But grateful he did, grateful that his family was willing to pass it on, if you would, so the rest of us might get a glimpse of just astounding models, an astounding collection. And I imagine, again, for those of you that know more about Lionel than me, that you're seeing some things that are kind of just wowing you in terms of quality and possibly quantity, although the pictures they showed us of the storage facility that's off-site, leaves a lot to be desired. But to see shelves with, quantity 20 of a given color of engine or car, I mean, how is it possible that much still exists and in that kind of condition? So this was fun. Standard gauge. Now, in discussions with some of you, I've been told these are more the reproduction MTH kind of stuff. But be that what it is, these were still phenomenal models to see running. And I thought they did a great job with this layout. It's not scenic to be kind of real world in a sense. It's more prototypical for the era that these trains were manufactured, but I still found it super, super well done. I also loved how they did this kind of tiered effect with the forced perspective, because the train on top, I believe, would be Lionel, where the ones in front were standard. So that created this forced perspective. And they had buttons. You see me pressing buttons and lights coming on. I was trying to video, and there was a little kid having a tantrum trying to press buttons, and so I wasn't quite sure what was going on. But it was a display that was a bit interactive. So you could press a button and it would bring a train to life to run for a certain amount of time, and then some of the buttons would highlight certain structures on the layout. I think there was a hot air balloon that went up and down. I kind of caught that out of the corner of my eye. Again, my apologies. I was a little bit distracted with all that was going on there. Yeah, but still, just pretty impressive. And one of the things I thought this layout did so very well is just highlighted the colors of the cars and engines, and the bright shiny metals, the trim pieces. It does look very toy-like, to be sure, but it's also so engaging. I don't know. I'm used to seeing pictures of this kind of stuff on a shelf, and those of you that collect and put it on a shelf, I'm not trying to slam you or anything, but to see it in operation, for me, was just hugely enjoyable, because I don't get to see this kind of stuff operate, and it was a real treat.
Thanks so much for sticking around to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment, and if you haven't clicked the like and subscribe, would really appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. Until next time, take care. God bless. Enjoy those American Flyer trains, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.